to the farmstead. Today I want to show you how easy it is to make sweet, delicious pickles from cucumbers you either get at the farmer's market or some that you've grown yourself. Now this is a combination. I grew some, but I didn't have enough for a whole batch, so I bought some at the farmer's market, and they are lovely. I'm going to be using Mrs. Wage's mix. Now, this brand makes all kinds of different mixes and spices and things for canning. I've used them for a long time and really enjoy them, but this makes it so easy. Directions right on the back, enough for one batch. It's perfect for me. So that's what we're doing. So we are making bread and butter pickles, which are sweet, a little tangy, good. A favorite all the way around. Now here's some of the cucumbers I bought, and you can cut up your cucumbers any way you'd like. You can use a knife, you can use a mandolin. I've used my food processor. I've done it all. But this year I decided I wanted wavy pickles. So I went to looking for an attachment for my mandolin, and I never could find one. But I did find this wavy cutter on Amazon. Wasn't very expensive, and it works great. After I got this, I got to thinking, I've seen that before. I want to share something with you. This is pretty special. These are things that I picked up when we were moving my grandparents out of their home many years ago. And I picked these things up thinking, I have no idea what that is, but they're cool, so I'll keep them. Now I know what they are. This, you've seen me use one of these making jelly. This is a jar lifter, old-fashioned jar lifter. This is a vegetable peeler and slicer kind of thing. We have a melon baller. It's a very archaic and dangerous looking wine opener. This is a butter paddle. If you've ever made your own butter, you use this to kind of pat it out and pat the water out of it and then shape it into the shape that you want before you put it in the fridge. Pretty cool. And then there was this. And this is what I'm thinking was probably a pickle slicer. But I bet you could also use it for like potatoes or anything you wanted wavy. But all these years, I never had thought about it. It's been sitting up on a shelf or in storage or in a box or something. Now they sit up on a shelf and display, but I bet that's what that is. So, just thought that was cool. And I'm very thankful to have things that remind me of days that I spent with my grandparents. So there's those. Now, let's get to cutting. I've cut up a bunch. Now I've got about, let's see, there were probably 15 pickles total, about this size. And I have found in using this that it works really well with cucumbers that are fresh and really crisp. This one is a little soft, so it's a little harder. But if I slice down and then pull away a little bit, the tops and the tails come off. Like that. Those will go to the compost. Move that out of our way. Now the last piece is going to get scary. There we go. And it makes these wonderful little wavy cucumbers. Last one. Nope. It'll just be fat. like I said, this one's getting a little mushy, so it's a little harder. There we go. That's a fat one. All right, into the bowl we go. Besides this packet, you'll also need, for this particular recipe, 7 cups of sugar and 6 3/4 cups of vinegar. Now, let me say something about the vinegar that you're using for canning. Be sure that you read the label. I picked up one the other day that was only 4% acidity. It needs to be 5. So be aware and read the labels. 5% acidity is what you need for canning. Okay? All right. Now, you're also going to need jars. I'm using pints, some fresh lids, and your rings. You're going to need a canner, and this could be a pot that just has a rack or something at the bottom. It doesn't have to be a specific canner because we're just doing water bath canning, so it's not pressure canning. And you need a non-reactive pot. And a non-reactive pot is just one that doesn't react with the food that you're cooking, in particular acidic foods like vinegar. And you'll know if it's reactive in the end if you kind of get that metal taste. You don't want that. So when you're buying pots, read the labels and make sure that they're non-reactive for canning with acidic foods. All right, head over to the stove, get this started. We've got our jars over in the canner getting hot. We've got our lids getting warm. And so we're going to mix up our mix. So in our pot, we're going to put our 6 3/4 cups of vinegar, plain white vinegar. We're going to put our 7 cups of sugar. We're going to put our mix, bread and butter mix. I'm going to stir it all together, and I'm using a wooden spoon. Use plastic or wooden spoon. I love my wooden spoons. And we're going to turn it on, and we're going to bring it up to just the boiling point where it's really hot and everything is combined and dissolved. Okay, we're just about to boiling. All of our sugar is melted. Everything's good and combined. So we're going to turn this off and get our jars out. And I'm going to put the lid back on it so it'll stay warm while we're packing our jars. Alright, so to pack them, I'm just going to drop them in. And a lot of times I will, that's a big fat one, put that on the side, kind of place them in, because in the end I don't want any airspace. So I end up kind of packing them in by hand pretty strategically. Finding small ones to stick in the holes. So that's packed pretty good. I think I'm gonna love these crinkle cuts. Hot. Hot. They're hot. I do have this tamper, as I call it. My husband bought it for me to really pack down in there. He actually had this one made. But you could find a jar or a glass or something that would do the same thing. In there. When it's all said and done, we want there to be about a 1/4 inch of headspace, juice and all. This is going to work out just right. Love it when a plan comes together. Alright. Look there. Perfect. How about that? Alright, wash my hands. Oh, we need a funnel. have to have a funnel, but sure does help. Especially when you're a little messy like me. Okay, we're gonna pour it just up to the bottom of the, about that full. Then we'll go back and, I didn't tamp these down, did I? I need to do that. We'll push them down when we go to debubble. Okay, so there's those. Push these down. All right. Now the little round things in here are mustard seeds. And I'm kind of being intentional in picking up a few for each jar. Alright, so I'm going to take our debubbler. You can use, this is one that comes with all the little tools that you get for a canning deal. In a canning supply kit kind of thing. You can use a chopstick. You can use a butter knife. Just something to get down and around to try to get all the bubbles out. Because you want to get all the bubbles out. The bubbles are where bacteria and all the bad things can grow. And usually when you debubble like this, you will see that your liquid goes down into those places where the bubbles were, and you need to add a little more before you put your lids on. Whoops, get in there. Quarter-inch headspace is what we're aiming for. That looks pretty good. Alright, so I've got a little bit of juice left, and what I'll do with this juice is I'll put it in another jar, and I will keep it in the refrigerator. And either I'll add it to the next batch that I make, or I will put some other cucumbers in it and make like refrigerator pickles. And they're good for about a week. Alright, so now we need to wipe our rims. Need to wipe the rims. So I get some paper towel. I've got some plain white vinegar. And I poured it in my little bowl so I can dip my paper towel in it. I'm gonna fold mine up a little bit. And then I just start, and I'll wipe the rim and down the side just a little bit simultaneously, because I typically spill over. It's just how I roll. And I'll do a couple of jars with this paper towel, and then I'll switch to another one, because I want to make sure that my rims are not sticky and don't have anything on them. Give them every opportunity I can for them to seal good. I don't want to go to all this work and then it not seal. You can see, you definitely get stuff off of there. All right, a little magnet. Lids. Now, as I understand it, it is not the manufacturer's recommendation to warm your lids any longer. But I do when I am water bath canning, because I feel like I have better success with them when I do. I have no scientific proof to that, but it makes me feel better. Okay, everybody's got a ring, and I'm gonna go through and put them on fingertip tight. And back in the canner they go. Once I get these in there, I'll make sure there's at least an inch of water over them. And if there's not, I'm going to add a little bit. This time we're going to get lucky and be good. Okay. So now that we've got them all in the canner, I'm going to put the lid on. I'm going to wait for them to come up to a boil, and once they come to a boil, then I'm going to set my timer for 10 minutes. Once that 10 minutes is up, I'll turn the heat off, take the lid off, let them sit for another 5, and then we'll get them out and set them on the counter to cool. 10 minutes are up. Take off the lid, turn it off. And there we have it. Just that easy. Bread and butter pickles. Give it a try sometime. You'll be glad you did. Thanks for joining us. See you next time.